Hey, somebody had to go first, Bill, but, what, your life story from when you were a kid, how did you wind up getting in football? What was your boyhood like?
Football. I mean, I played football very early. Crafted Little Cougars, 8 years old. Many times I found myself having to walk to practice. That was on Steuben Street. There's an athletic field down on Steuben Street in Crafton. And usually my parents picked me up on the way back. But it was just, it was introduced to me very early. I loved the game. I loved basketball as well. And I probably had more of a passion for basketball than I did football early on. Then I realized as I quit growing and I found myself that I really couldn't jump that high. There was probably a little bit of a ceiling there for my basketball career. But I've always loved football, and it was just something that I just think in Western Pennsylvania, it's kind of a way of life. It kind of defines who you are. It separates communities. You get identified a lot of times with your high school and how good you are. And even some of the Pop Warner football teams that you're with. We had some very intense practices at times. You learn very early in the game of football that it's not about getting knocked down. It's about how many times you continue to get back up.
What was your offensive position, Bill?
I was a center at first. I was a center and played linebacker as in Pop Warner football, and then I moved to tight end my senior year of high school. I continued to play linebacker, and I played linebacker in college.
Bill, how overwhelming is this? Now that it's had time to sink in, how overwhelmed are you by it all, and how much do you want to savor everything that's happening from now until the induction?
You know what, Albie? I think I'll be savoring this the rest of my life. I think you get very reflective when things like this happen. Not that you don't when you walk away from the game, but I'm still able to be a part of the game with the platform that I have at CBS. But you sit there and you go through visiting Canton here today, and you hear about the history of the game and the artifacts that they have. And I start thinking about all the stuff I still have back. I was telling Isaac Bruce, I said, Isaac, I still have the draft that you came out in '94, and I was thinking, wow, if I had a chance to draft you, I probably, I should have did, but I realized, wow, I did have a chance to draft him, and I didn't. So I think I missed one there, and then we took Charles Johnson, and Charles was a great receiver for us that time. But you get here, and you see the stories, you see the men, you see their makeup. So humbling, it really is. It's hard to even put into words, and I think one of those things that as time goes on, as you're able to continue to look at the game and watch the game evolve, just realize that you got a small place in that somewhere along the way. And the people that you influenced, the lessons that it taught you. I just go back to all of that. I really am that kid from Crafton. And it's one of those things sometimes you sit back to reflect. Crafton and Canton, how'd that happen? I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that you were instilled very early in your lifetime by my father and the coaches I was around, the teachers I was around. Those were the ones that were very influential in who you turned out to be. The ones that pulled you back when you crossed the line, the ones that pushed you when you needed to be pushed, the ones that patted you on the back at times when you were disappointed and you were discouraged. And it takes all those people along the way that you get back and reflect on it. For me, I go back to just the very culture of the city that I grew up in, which was Pittsburgh, and for me to be able to go back there to live that dream and to be able to be taught to be coached by Marty Schottenheimer, who grew up in Fort Cherry, ironically, and then to go to an organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers and everything that they stand for. And the core values you learn as a person and that you take with you. And I say it before, I came there at 34 years old, probably brash, ready to kind of set my niche. And Dan Rooney, he was my boss, he was my father, he was my friend, he was my mentor. I became a better person, and consequently, I think I became a better coach.
Coach,
Coach, how legitimately surprised were you when David Baker showed up at CBS?
Well, I was totally surprised. I knew there was a vote. It was Wednesday. I heard nothing Thursday and Friday. In fact, I told my wife that Saturday morning, because we had to do the Saturday night show. We had a double header that week, and so we had the Saturday night show. So I told her that morning, I don't think I'm getting in. And I said, I'm okay with it. I really am. I said, I don't need validate my career at all. I said, I'm fine with everything. The story's out there, and I don't think I'm going to get in. And I know these guys are going to start asking me about it when I go in there tonight, because it's been 2.5 days. So I go in there, and then we go through a production meeting, and no one says a word to me. So now I know I'm not getting in. They give me that little respectful space. Don't ask him about it. He's probably upset. I'm thinking, now I know I'm not in. Like, 'cause no one's even asked me about it. And then we went out there, and they changed. We wanted to do the eye vision from one wall to another, because they wanted to. They said we wanted to see this different screen. And I saw the bosses come out and go, wow. Hey, Phil, let's not mess up this segment, because I said the bosses are out there. They really want to see what this segment's like. And I said, Phil, I always remember, Phil, what about Lamar Jackson? Phil goes, Coach, what about David Baker? I go, what? David Baker? And, and at that point, you're just trying to process things. And honestly, first thing I thought of was like, you're interrupting our eye vision. This is not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a knock on the door, and there's supposed to be a phone call or something. And then he started leaving. I said, no, please come back. I don't mean to interrupt you. Please continue. And as he did, I just remember closing my eyes, and I just think it was like, is this a dream? It's just like one of those things. It's just like, wow. And I didn't even think about being on TV. I didn't think about anything else. I thought about looking over and seeing my wife, my daughter there. I thought about my mom and my dad. I thought about Kay. I thought about Dan Rooney, Marty Schottenheimer, the people that were part of that journey. It's the first thing I could think about. And then this family I had at CBS that has allowed me to make that transition in life to this next phase. It gets so reflective in such a very short period of time, because this is like one of those things that I had put closure to it, and now it was reopened again. And boy, is it good.
Coach, do you remember the first time you went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And if you do, what stuck out to you?
We played here, I think, in 1998 game. I think we made it available for some of the players. I don't even think I came over. This is really the first time I've walked in there and seen that. And it's just, again, the history, what they do here, preserving the game, the legacy of all the people that are now into this. You're forever a number. I'm 330. I always remember that number. And as you talk about it, it's a team you always will be a part of the rest of your life. And you hear the stories of John Madden says these bus talk to each other when the lights go down. My first thought is, man, I want to go next to him. And so it's just a really cool place that just has preserved the game that has been such a part of people in the United States. It's America's game. Say what you want. It's what it is. And it represents communities. It represents people. It brings people together. And it builds character. And I think one thing I always say is that, when I give our commissioner a lot of credit, he's continuing to try to make the game safer. And I love the fact that we continue to do that. But it's still the game of football. It's the greatest chess match there is. It's chess matches. It's a chess match with men. You're matching wits. It's a battle of endurance. It's a battle of making one adjustment after another. And that's why I've always loved the game. I love to compete against it. I love working with people. And I love how it brings a certain element of people together, striving for a certain goal. And through the course of 17 holes or 17 games, however you want to refer to it, in golf, there's 18. We have 16 right now, soon to be 17. Then we'll go to 18. And it'll be truly like a golf match. But it is the ability to be resilient. Resiliency is one of the greatest attributes you can have in this game. That in perspective. resiliency with a degree of perspective, the right perspective. To me, that's what life's about. It's about transitioning from one phase of life to another, transitioning from one game to another, transitioning from 1 year to another, transitioning from one player to another, transitioning from one coach to another. Life is a constant series of transitions. And the ability to master that, I think, is what makes and separates people. And the people that are in this room, that are in this hall, they transitioned very well. They took the platform they were on, wherever they came from, different people from different cultures, different ethnic groups, but they find a way to transition and to excel and to be resilient.
Bill, you spent some time, we saw you there observing all the buses carefully, walking around and looking at all of them. What emotions go through you there when you know you're going to have one? And I know there's an especially special one there in Dan Rooney. You observed.
Yeah, I could do 3 or 4 laps. I feel like every person I saw, I missed 2 or 3 others, and I didn't, it's so special because you see so many levels of it. You see people like Dan Rooney, you see people like Derek Thomas, and I saw Derek Thomas. I coached Derek Thomas his first 3 years as he was a rookie. And he's a special player. Dermani, you see Rod, you see Joe, Franco, Chuck's in there, and it's just, it's overwhelming at times. It's humbling to think that you're going to be in there, to be able to push a button and there'll be a series of whatever they may be, pictures and videos of you and when you were playing and all the artifacts that go with that. And I just think it'll be great someday for family, for the kids, for the grandkids, and their grandkids, to say this was your grandfather, this was your father, this was my father, this is what he was, this is what he represented. And look at these other people that he was able to be in the special way, the last team that he was on. And that's still processing it.
Coach, have you thought about presenter at this point?
I have, and I think I'm going to save that announcement, to be honest with you, for the Allen Fund Dinner, the Pittsburgh Gala, on March 17th. I'm going to announce it there.
Bill, in the context of Marty was the guy with this seething passion, and you played for him, and then in the context of you talking about transitions, you played for him and you coached for him. What were those experiences like? Could you kind of flesh out what that meant to you?
Marty Schottenheimer is a Hall of Fame coach. I think he's I'm going to call him a contributor, I'm going to call him a coach. No one's had a bigger influence in this game than that man. He was on one of the original competitions committees with Don Shula. He's got over 200 regular season wins. Everyone wants to point to his playoff record. I'm going to point to the people that he did for a period of time. He did it, the consistency with which he played. That man came from Fort Cherry, went to Pitt, played in the National Football League as a backup player. He started. He was a better player than I was, but then all of a sudden I go and play for him, and I think he saw in me a little bit of what it was in him, and I loved the game, student of the game, realized that my contributions, I needed to be able to play more than one position, so I found a way to be a very versatile player, and had a degree of toughness about me that allowed me to be there for you. I wanted to be accountable. I wanted to be someone you could count on week in, week out, every day in practice. And when I went to come back and coach with him, having never coached before, I learned everything from him. I watched him stand in front of the men. I watched him prepare game plans. Preparation was everything to him. You walked in there, you better be prepared. You better have done your work. You better have studied the film. You better understand what tendencies are, who you're supposed to be looking for when it comes to protection. And so these were the little things that, to me, is when game day came, he was great. Just play. I'm going to make it harder on you Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday than it's going to be on Sunday. Sunday's going to be a relief. And so I learned that from him. And I learned how to structure things from him. What are you looking for? I mean, I never coached defensive backs before when I was with the Cleveland Browns. I sat there with Marty and Larry Weaver And he said, talk to Larry Weaver. Larry Weaver's a very good defensive back coach. I've never played him now. I'm supposed to go talk to Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield, guys I played with. I'm not going to tell them, I'm talking about them about technique. So I knew before I walked in that meeting, they're going to test me. I'm the same age as you. I'm going to talk to you about playing defensive back. And all you do, you're a special teams player? Yep, I am. And I do. What about this? I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that. Let's watch the tape. You tell me, you teach me a little bit. I'll teach you, and I'll talk to you. So Marty just gave me that opportunity, trusted me, gave me a chance to be a coordinator. And he could have hired anybody else who had experience. I didn't have any experience. He gave me every opportunity I had. And for that, I will always, always be indebted. And I learned so much from him. And yeah, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's a contributor. And he's touched a lot more people than myself in that way.
Coach, in the last month or so, you've gotten very reflective on everything, but there always in the last decade, everyone says, oh, Bill Cowher bought a house in Raleigh, he bought a house in Strongsville, whatever it is. Was there, you've gone on record to say that you didn't want to coach, you were done, but was there ever an itch, was there ever an offer that you had an inkling to go, maybe I should give it one more go?
Well, I did buy a house in Strongsville, I did buy a house in Raleigh. None of which happened during the time frame that you were talking about. No, not really. I mean, I listened, to be honest, and I listened early. I walked away, and I had a pretty good idea when I walked away. I had the best job in football. It was 15 years. At the time I walked away, my wife at the time was not in a good place. I have no regrets whatsoever. Those last 3 years I was able to spend with her was very special. She passed away in 2010. I've always enjoyed my job at CBS, and the one thing I realized when I walked away is 49 years old, and I'm walking away. It's a pretty good life out there. I could travel in the off season. I met my current wife, and I've enjoyed getting to know her, and for us to spend time together. Been together for almost 10 years, married for 5, going on 6. You know, I love the balance I have in my life, and I don't think I've ever really had that itch to come back. Do I miss it? Absolutely. I miss strategizing. I miss talking about it. I miss working with players and coaches, but not enough to go back into the lifestyle. You know, I have balance right now in my life. I have an off season. I can do these things I want to do right now, and when the season comes, I get cranked up. I get eager to watch tape. I love talking about the games on Sunday. You know, I haven't won a game in 14 years, but I haven't lost one either. You know, so it's a lot. The losing gets harder. I think the longer you coach, you know, because you set the bar high for yourself. And I think I was a better coach at the end than I was at the beginning, to be quite honest with you. But you know what? I knew that when I walked away, the team was in pretty good hands. It was pretty set. And so I think I felt good about that. And I was just very, very, again, thankful for having, there was no one's going to be like the Steeler organization. It's a very unique place. I've been around it now, I've been out of it for 14 years. I still say that. And what their mystique is that, you know, they do things the right way for the right reasons. And when in this world of temptation that we live into and trying to maximize opportunity, they've stuck to the core values, and I respect that.
Coach, you had 3 losing seasons during your career, and the Steelers stuck with you, and that's kind of rare. And even with a long-term coach, talk about how that relationship was that made the Steelers so sure that you were still the guy even after teams had struggled.
Well, I mean, I think, listen, obviously winning early builds a degree of credibility. And I think with all those situations, I think one thing that we always had in that building was transparency. People communicated with each other. We all understood where we were. We understood that sometimes getting out of it was going to take some time. It wasn't going to be an easy fix. And again, there was patience. There was patience in a world that becomes very impatient today. They were very patient. They understood, and we all talked about it. And They were not going to be driven, and decisions weren't going to be made by the outside people in the building who may be calling for change that everybody calls for. They understood what the situation was on the inside. They felt very comfortable moving forward, and I always respected that. And like I said, I never wanted to be somewhere I wasn't wanted, and I never wanted my contract to ever stand in the way. And that was always reiterated time and time again. I've been blessed. I started at a very early age. I'm good. I don't do things for monetary reasons. I do things because I love it and been very passionate about it. That's how I grew up. Everything else will take care of itself. And but just be as good as you can be. Treat people the right way. Don't try to be someone you're not. But be respectful. And I know all these times it was a little tenuous, probably with me, with the media, and it was probably me being protective of my players, and not liking the questions that were asked. And sometimes I got short, I got surly. But when you asked it, you knew you were getting it. So what you see is what you get. And it was not a reflection of anyone I was talking to. It was a reflection of how I felt at the time. And I was probably more bothered by things because maybe there was volition to what they're saying. There's some truth to it, and you're right. And I got to get this worked out and get this fixed. And that's my job. And I may be short a little bit, and because that's just how I feel, and that was my job. And so, but I go on the other side of it. I go sometimes I go like, okay, I could have said that probably a little bit more softer, but the side wasn't very soft sometimes.
Coach, what is your message to Steelers Nation? This is the first time since Tony Dungy and Marvin Harrison are being enshrined at the same time. To Steelers Nation, why should they be here for enshrinement?
Why would you not be here for enshrinement? You're talking about myself and Troy and Donnie Shell. Are you kidding me? This place is going to be special. I've already called up some of the guys. I said, rally the troops. We're all going to Canton. I told Potsy down, I sent a message to James Ferrier. He's Potsy, rally the troops. I don't know where Hamp's at right now. Find him, get his butt up here in August. And I said, so, I think we had a great run with a great bunch of guys, great coaches, Coach LeBeau, Coach Wisnot, Coach Capers. God bless Ron Earhart, one of the first staff to the very last staff we had, which is again Coach LeBeau back for a second time, and Wiz and Mike Malarkey and Darren Perry and Dick Hoke, Ken Stevenson, Russ Grimm. Come on. We have one of the most special group of people, Steeler Nation, and I think it's number one. The greatest thing about this is if you come up for the day, just drive up and back. If you can't get a hotel, or you know what, you can camp out. Remember when you were a kid, you camped out. Take your sleeping bags, find a nice park somewhere, and just stay up for about 3 or 4 days. That's what we do in the Berg. Come on, you can do this. I'm not asking too much.
Bill, they say that true Hall of Famers, whether it's a player or a coach, you don't play or coach for the Hall of Fame, you play or coach for the game. When you were introduced as Steelers head coach in January of '92, you're replacing Chuck Noll, a kid that grew up in Crafton. Did you ever in your wildest dreams even think about the Hall of Fame?
No, I haven't. No. I just wanted to come in here and I'm not going to replace Chuck Noll. What Chuck Noll did was so special in that period of time, and he's one that the renaissance of Pittsburgh started with Chuck Noll. My obligation to come in here was to hold up that tradition, that responsibility, to try to do it to some degree with which he did it. And I embraced the tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers when I came here. We brought all those guys back here for dinners that we used to have in the spring when we'd draft a guy and come in here. You know, when you're coming into the city, it's a special city. It's tradition. It's expectation. It's about a responsibility. And these guys all stayed here. You know why they stayed here? Because the people here are special. And we got to do things a certain way. Whether you like it or not, you are going to be a role model. You are representing this organization. It's bigger than you, and it's bigger than me. There'll be people before you, there'll be people after you. There's people before me, there's going to be people after me. Just because when you're a part of it, hold up your end of the bargain. do it your way, but do it the right way. And, you know, I never thought about it even when I left. I was just very proud of the fact that, you know, that time frame, we won more games than anybody did in the National Football League during that 15 years of time. Do we fall short of championships? We did. You know, some of those championship games, play here, play there, but that's football. And I'm okay with it. I really, really am. And I was just so proud of, you know, man, it took me a long time to get there, but handing him that trophy in Detroit. So, Mr. Rooney, I'm sorry it took this long, but I've been trying to get this to you for a while now. So here's that 5th one for the ring, the one for the thumb, and the, you know, that just meant so much just because of him. And never met the chief, and just where Art's at right now. It's a special family that represents all the right things about the city of Pittsburgh. And it was just very gratifying to have given them that. Canton was never a thought.